This is WICR.
All right, we're back for our second segment of The Rock is On, and we're making the transition from the World Series, and we're gonna shift focus to our football teams with the Jets and the Giants. Both made some headlines today, kind of off the field headlines, but I'll start off with the Giants. Now we all know what happened with their kicker, or I should say now former kicker, Josh Brown, with his whole domestic violence, and he kept journals and emails about how he abused and hit his wife profusely, or his ex-wife profusely, excuse me. But I guess you can say in a way, justice prevailed this past week when the Giants officially cut Josh Brown. You know what? I applaud the Giants because there's without any hesitation they should have, as soon as this news came out, they should have cut him. Because Josh Brown was originally placed on the NFL commissioner exempt list, though, which means he can't play, but he's still going to get paid. Whereas if you got him cut originally, the Giants don't have to pay him for the rest of the year. So you know what? Good move by the Giants because you don't need that kind of distraction going on for your team when you're trying to win ball games and trying to make the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. And that's the last thing. And I think with an organization like the Giants, that's the last thing you want. You don't want a distraction, especially something so egregious and so deplorable and sickening like domestic violence. A lot of people compare Josh Brown's situation with Ray Rice. Yes, they're similar because they both, struck their wives and had domestic violence problems. But there's one difference between them, one major difference. And that is Ray Rice did it once, and he learned from it. And he's regretted it ever since. Whereas Josh Brown, on the other hand, didn't learn from it. He kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. So as if he didn't care. He used his wife as a punching bag. Didn't love her. Because you saw in the journals, or you heard that he kept journals of how he hit her, why he abused her, and whatnot. Domestic violence is just inexcusable. You can't deny it. It shouldn't be tolerated, shouldn't be condoned by anyone, and no one should be a victim to it. But the Giants, like I said, made the right move. Thinking about, they realized they made a mistake because they knew about it. They knew about the whole situation when at the Pro Bowl, Josh Brown had to get into one hotel room and the NFL had to separate him and his wife and put his wife in another room then wife in another room so that way she doesn't get hurt or nothing bad would happen to her. And in a way, I guess you can credit the Giants for saying, hey, we messed up, our faults, you can give us grief, but please, let's just move on from it. We learned our lesson. We know we won't do that again. And it's kind of surprising that the Giants, they knew about this, but they didn't do anything about it. They gave this guy a second look. And it just shows, like in the NFL, regardless of what you do off the field, if you can play and help a team win, you're going to get a second chance. I know that's kind of appalling in a way, but that's just how it is. Sadly, how it is. I guess you can say. But the Giants, they're coming off a win. But you know what? This is coming up with the announcement of Josh Brown's release. The Giants are coming off a 17-10 win over the Rams in London, going into their bye week. Now 4-3, 1-2 straight, building some momentum, and hopefully they can build on it. And now we're going to switch to the Jets. Now we all know Ryan Fitzpatrick struggled mightily this year. There's no denying that. Because last year was just a complete fluke. It was a one-year wonder. He had a great year, and that was it. But in this past Sunday against the Ravens, the Jets finally won a game. Yay! The Jets won! But some things happened. Somewhat of unfortunate things happened, if you want to say it that way, or look at it that way. Geno Smith originally started the game, but then suffered a knee injury, which turned out to be an ACL injury, ACL tear. So he's out for the year. But Fitzpatrick comes in relief, doesn't play badly, doesn't play well, doesn't play great, but doesn't play badly. Helps the Jets to a 24-16 victory over the Ravens. Proves to 2-5. And and they have 3 winnable games after this. Hopefully they can go 5-5 into the bye, and when they play the Patriots that Sunday after Thanksgiving, they have a chance. They want to have that chance. But it wasn't about the game itself that caught my attention. It's what happened in the post game. And those comments were made by Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I quote, "The biggest thing in this game to last is to have belief in yourself," Fitzpatrick said. "Because when the owners stop believing in you, and the GM, general manager, stops believing in you, and the coaches stop believing in you, sometimes all you have is yourself. That's kind of something I've dealt with before and something I'm dealing with now." Wow. Whew. I just don't know, how does this guy have the gumption to say something like that? You played poorly, Ryan. You were terrible. You wanted a big lucrative contract in the offseason that neither the Jets or the 31 other NFL teams wanted to give to you. And you got benched and you were replaced for Geno Smith. And you only came in because he got hurt. And you're going to start for the rest of the year because Petty's not ready and Hackenberg's not ready. And it's just, wow, it's crazy. Like, how do you say that? How do you say that? I understand you're frustrated and you haven't been playing and things haven't been how you appear to be or how you predicted it to be, but you can't say that. How do you take shots at your own owner, publicly like that? The owner, Mike McCagnon, Todd Bowles, and his coaching staff. You got to understand, Ryan Fitzpatrick, you were only benched because you didn't play up to your capability. You didn't play well. You sucked. Put it to you that way. And Todd Bowles and the Jets gave you an opportunity. They had faith in you. That's why they waited. They negotiated with you. Wanted to get you a simple deal just so you can be with the team for at least one more year. And they gave you $12 million, and you messed it up. You threw it away. $12 million has gone down the drain so far. But really, man, you can't say... How do you say that? You can't say that. Now, if you were playing well and you got hurt, then okay. There's some argument there, but, if you've been playing terribly and then you say, "Oh, everyone stop believing in me. Oh, I have to believe in myself." Come on, man. This is why you're a journeyman quarterback, because you're inconsistent. You're not a proven winner. You never beat a team with a 500 record or better on the road. You can beat all these sub 500 teams with no problem, but when you play 500 teams or better, you can't win. You lose. Just like the Buffalo game last year in Week 17, when all was on the line. All you had to do was win and you were in the playoffs. That's all you had to do, man. You got to win that. If you had won that game, Ryan Fitzpatrick, you would have received that lucrative contract, in my opinion. And maybe if you won a game or two, you would have been the Jets' top priority in the offseason. They would have went out of their way just to sign you. And you would have had 4 years, 24 to $30 million. You would have gotten that. But the Jets took a flyer on you, in lack of a better phrase. They took a flyer on you. 1 year, $12 million. They said, "You want that contract, you earn it, and you do. And what you did last year, do it again." But regardless of what happens in these next 2 months of the football season, You got to figure Ryan Fitzpatrick's days as a Jet or in a Jet uniform are numbered. You can't dispute that. Because, if you're a Jet fan, you got to be realistic and say, you know what? We're going to have Bryce Petty, Christian Hackenberg, and maybe a third quarterback. Whether it's a veteran or some free agent you picked up or somebody you draft. Or you want to waste a draft pick on another quarterback, because I think Hackenberg was a waste of a draft pick. Unless, and then again, I can't say that soon because he hasn't played. But, this is just another circus for the Jets and their quarterbacks. Maybe someday they'll find a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, somebody that can lead them to the promised land. Maybe they'll find their Tom Brady. But it may not. It's not going to be this year, and it's probably not going to be next year either. And that concludes this segment.